Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make my little lazy daisy square, which is great to make a blanket or any project that involves squares, whether that's a bag or anything really, a little top or maybe 6 together to make a nice place setting on the table. It's quite a versatile little square. Now I use something very similar to this square when I first had my children, and each one of these green parts I'd used a different colour and made a kind of a rainbowy flower blanket. It was quite pretty, but this one I'm just going to carry on with the green. Now I've used a DK weight yarn for this project, but you can use any weight yarn that you want. Just make sure that you get the correct size crochet hook. So for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm using this King Cole Price Wise, which I got from my shop, hobbyrocks.co.uk. Now this one is the shade of buttermilk, and I guess this one's just called white, yep. And I also have some green, which I think is called shamrock. So I'm just using the 3 colours this time. I'm using a 4.5mm crochet hook. You can use a 5 if you want to. It does actually come up quite, it's not tight, but it's quite close work. So 4.5 I prefer. Now these are Clover and Moors, and at the moment I'm trialling these with a view to doing a review on them. I can't believe I've got to this age and I've not actually used Clover and Moors before. But I'm going to give them a go and do a review on them. But all of the things you see here today I do sell in my shop, and there is a voucher code in the description box under the video, which is valid until the end of December. So as I say, I'm going to use these 3 colours. I'm going to clear these out of the way. You will also need a pair of scissors and a darning needle. I'm just going to clear all this out the way and get ready. So I'm going to pause it for a second and come back to you. Okay, so in this particular tutorial, we do want the little hole in the centre. So I'm going to start with a slip knot, which you can do in any way that you normally do. Just make a slip knot, and I'm going to chain 4, just 4 chain. And then I'm going to slip stitch into that very first one by inserting and doing a slip stitch. And now we've got a really tiny little ring. It will get a little bit bigger as we work into it, so don't worry, it might be difficult to see at the beginning, but just take extra care and you'll go into the center. So I'm going to chain 2, and that represents my first stitch, which is a UK treble or a US double, and in this ring I'm going to make 11. With these 2 chain, that will make 12. So I'm going to do that right into the center of the ring, and I'm going to make my 11 UK trebles or US double crochets. So as you can see now, I've done about 3. You can see that ring has grown a bit. So I'm going to pause it now. I've done 3 with my chain. There is 4. So I'm going to carry on until I've got my 12. Okay, so just to make sure, I'm going to count them. Now you can count the V's, but it's easy to count the stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and my 2 chain makes 12. So now I'm going to slip stitch into the very top of my first 2 chain. So the top one is there. Just going to insert and do a slip stitch. I'm going to do 1 chain and cinch it right down, cut my yarn and pull it through. So I'm ending off. Now this particular one in the center, this is, if you wanted to, if you thought that was a little bit too big, you could pull it closed a little bit, but I'm just going to snip that off because there's too many ends, otherwise it'll get confusing, and that will just get lost in there because I worked over that tail. Okay, so now we're going to join our white yarn. Okay, so I'm going to join it at the opposite side because I don't like to work over two tails at the same time if I don't have to. So I'm just going to insert through the two loops through the whole stitch and bring in my new colour, which is the white for the petals of the daisy. And all I'm going to do is make a little knot to secure that on there, but you can join your yarn however you normally join. Okay, so now I'm going to insert and bring up a loop, and I'm going to chain 3. And we're going to double treble in the UK, which is a treble crochet in the US. And we're going to do yarn over twice, go into the same space, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. But we're going to stop there because we're going to do them together. So we're going to make another double treble or US treble in the same space. And we're going to pull through 2, pull through 2, and we've got 3 loops on our hook. We're going to pull through all 3 of those. And now we're going to chain 2. Now in the next space, we're going to treble crochet or double treble crochet 3 together. So it's double treble crochet 3 together in the UK, but in the US it's treble crochet 3 together. So we're going to start off. The only reason this one was different was because we had chain to start, but we are now going round our hook twice and into our stitch. I'm going to work over the tail. We'll pull up the loop. We're going to go through 2 and through 2, but we're going to stop there, and we're going to carry on and do another one, and we're going to pull through 2, pull through 2 and stop there. We're going to do another one, and now we've got 4 loops on our hook, and we're going to go through all 4 loops. So they look the same because this one had chains. Now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do the same again in the next stitch. Yarn round twice, go into the stitch, pull up our loop, go through 2, but stop there. Do that again, and do that again. And then once we've got our 4 loops on our hook, we're going to go through all 4 loops and chain 2. So we're going to do that in every single stitch all the way around. And I'm going to work over this tail. Then when I get to there, I'm going to start working over that tail so I can do less sewing of ends, which I prefer. So I'm going to pause it now, and I'm going to do one of these double treble 3 together in the UK, or double or just treble 3 together in the US. They do get confusing when we call them different things. But for the UK, just remember it's a double treble 3 together, and in the US it's a treble 3 together. I'm going to pause it and I'll catch up with you when you get back to here again. Right, I've gone all the way around and I've got one left to do. So you should be finished, or should I say you should be left at the end of this with 12 petals. And this one is my 12th, so I'm going to do that one with you. And I've worked over my tail, so there's less sewing in at the end to do. And this is the last one. I'm going to do my 2, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the top of this petal, do a chain, cinch it down, and end off the white. I'm going to pull that through. Now this is the only end that really you can't really work over. You're going to have to sew this one in. But as we've worked over the others, I've worked over that one sufficiently, I can cut that one off. And there we are. That's our little center. This is now this part. So now I'm going to show you how we turn that into a square. So I'm going to just clear the white yarn away, and I'll come back to you once I've got my green. Okay, so this is what it's looking like, and we're going to join our green yarn on the opposite side. although I'm not going to be working over this tail, I still always kind of do that. And I'm just going to join it in between one of the petals. So I'm going to join it the same way by making a little knot in it. Sometimes if I feel like it, I'll make a double. But now with this, I'm going to do half a corner at the beginning. So I'm going to pull through a loop and I'm going to chain 3. Okay, so now the next 2 stitches that I'm going to do are going to be double trebles, or in the US, treble crochets, but they're not together. They're just single ones. So we're yarning over twice. And then we're going through 2, through 2, and through 2. Okay, so in the next one, I'm going to do 3 UK trebles or US double crochets, just normal ones. You know, pull through 2, and you're done. I need to pull some yarn out. Actually, I don't. I'm just treading on it. And we're going to just do 3 in the next one. And in the next one, again, we're going to do 3. Just normal, kind of like as if this is a granny square now. Okay, so in the next one, we're going to do a full corner. So we're going to do UK double trebles or treble crochets in the US. And we're going to do 3. Remember, they're not together. They're just single ones. And a chain. And then 3 more in the same space. So we're doing 6 altogether, but separated by a single chain. If I go ahead of you, just pause it and catch up with me. So now we've made a corner. We've got what looks like, if it was a granny square, it would be made out of trebles, but we're actually wanting it to be quite tall so that we're making this into a nice square. In the next one, we're going to do 3 UK trebles or US double crochets. And in the next one, 3. And then we want to make another, oh, excuse me, I got cramp. Do apologise. We're going to make another corner. So what we're doing is we're going into a corner like this, and then we're doing 2 along the side, and then we're coming to another corner. I suppose we can work over this tail at this point, but it's kind of finishing at the end there rather than in the middle or something. So I'd rather sew that one in because I don't feel like it's in the right spot. So we're going to do the corner as normal. One chain in between. Avoiding that tail getting caught in it. I'll hold on to it, I think. And if you have to, just push these over slightly to make a bit of space to get your last one in. Okay, so as you can see, this is a full side now. We've got a full corner. We've got our 2 at the side. Now what I want you to do is to carry on. So in the next 2 spaces, you will do kind of normal granny stitch, 3 UK trebles or 3 US doubles. And then in the next one, you'll do your corner. And then you'll do your 3 normal ones in this one, trebles or doubles, whatever you want, whichever terminology you're using. And then we'll get back to this point. So I'm going to pause it and I will catch up with you when I get back to this half corner. Okay, so I've made it all the way back. So as I started off with half a corner, I'm now going to finish that corner by doing 3 more UK double trebles or US trebles in that space to make the other side of the corner. Okay, so now in the top chain, my third one, I'm just going to make a UK double crochet, which is a single crochet in the US. And I'm going to do a chain, cinch it down, cut my yarn and pull it through. So now, if you wanted to, that could be the end of your square. I'm just going to clear away my green. But I decided to do a white border. But if you wanted to, you could make them finish on the green. So I'm going to add the white, and I chose to do half trebles around and make a couple of rows of just half treble crochets. You could do one row of UK trebles or US doubles. You could just do a couple of rows of UK doubles, which are single crochets in the US, but I chose to do some half trebles. I wanted it to have a smaller border, so I just chose to start in any corner. I won't choose this one because I will work over that tail. So I'm going to join the yarn as I have done on the other rounds and just make a little knot. Okay, so I want to make half a corner, and by doing that I'm just going to do one chain, and I'm going to do 2 half trebles, which are half doubles in the US. So you just yarn over and go in, get your 3 loops on the hook and pull through all 3. And I'm going to do 2 in that corner because when I come back I'm going to put my last one in and finish off. Now I'm going to do 1 in every single stitch all the way around, not forgetting that first one. Sometimes it can be a little bit tucked out the way when you with your, you know, when you've done these corners, it can mask that one. That one was showing itself to me, but you might have to pull it aside to find it. But don't leave it out, otherwise your work tends to pucker if you've not got the right stitch count. You can block it or you can pull it out, but it can kind of pull itself otherwise. Now the observant among you may see that I did actually work that tail in as I went. I have a way of working in my tails which could be confusing if I showed you. I did do a video once where I showed people, but when you're making a tutorial, you have to kind of weigh up whether that would confuse people. But I just work over my tail as I go. It's very much the same as sewing it in at the end. Okay, so now I'm at the corner. In between, this is the one where my join is, where I ended off. So just make sure you go into that between the 2 sets of 3 and you do 3 UK treble crochets, US, double trebles or double trebles or half trebles or half doubles. Oh my goodness, it's getting really confusing. So again, you want to make sure you're going in that first one, which could be hidden, and then 1 in every one along. It's making me tongue-tied, all these different names and trying to mention them both. It wouldn't be so bad if I were just using 1 stitch, but I think I've used just about every stitch there is in this tutorial. And when you consider that some of the stitches have got different stitches have the same name as another stitch, it gets very confusing. But yeah, there we go. So that's all the way around. Now when we get to the corner, I'm working over this green tail as I go. I'm almost there. Okay, so there we are. We need to do 3 in that corner. And then we should have a complete side with corners to look at. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're doing 3 in our corners. We're doing 1 all the way along. So I'm going to pause it then, and I'm going to do 1 in each of these, 3 in this corner here between our sets of 3, and 1 all the way along, and then when I get back to this stitch here, I'll show you how to finish that corner. Okay, so I'm almost there. I've got 1 more to do in this last one, and then I'm back at the corner. So I did 2. I'm going to do my 3rd one, and then I'm going to slip stitch into my first real stitch, which will finish that corner off. Now you can stop there if you wish. I did 2 rows, so all I did was 1 chain and my 2 in the corner, go all the way around exactly the same, come back and finish that corner. So as you've already seen that row, I won't show you another row, but that's all I did. You can leave it at 1. It does look quite nice with 1, but that's my lazy daisy square. Hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. And as I said, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.